This is my created worksheet in this workbook, and I have entered this data according to how I have organized them on my physical medium. But after working with this data or entering this data in this worksheet, I could see that some of my texts are hidden, some of my data are hidden, they are not fully shown in the individual cells. So in this video we are going to learn how to adjust our columns and rows to have a perfect data shown in our individual worksheet. Now these columns and rows are located in this worksheet. So this area, you see we have the A, B, C, D, E, F and continuously. So all these vertical sections in this worksheet are known as columns. And when you get to the left side, we have this 1, 2, 3. All these are horizontal sections and they are known as rows. Now when a row and a column get together or they are combined, they form something known as a cell, and a cell is the intersection of rows and columns. So if I select this cell, it means that I am located in column I and also located in row 4. So you can see that this column is highlighted and this number is also highlighted. The other columns and numbers are not highlighted. If I select this, you can see that I have this L highlighted and I have this 2 highlighted. Therefore this become a cell. And what type of cell is this? This is an active cell because that name is shown in the name box. So we have L2 in this name box, and this is prompting you or giving you a signal that this column and this number is selected. If I click here, I have H and 9. So H9 is located in the name box, then this become our active cell. So I have used all these individual cells here to have this data entered, and now I want to have my content or my data fully shown in this particular worksheet. So I'm going to show you different ways to adjust your rows and columns to have a perfect data shown. Now the first approach is when you move to the name box. Below the name box we have this right angle symbol, that is the right angle triangle symbol here. When you select this or click on it, this is going to select the entire worksheet. Therefore you can double click on any of the separator between your columns. So you can see that we have this separator between B and C, we have this separator between D and E. So if I double click, this is going to fully show my data in this particular worksheet. As you can see, now I have all this content shown in their individual cells. So this is the first approach. Let me undo, Ctrl+Z. Now the next one is you can click on the columns that consist of your data and drag over it to select them. Now I have all these selected, and now I can use the separator between these columns and double click, and this is also going to adjust these columns so that I can have my data fully shown. You can also apply this to your rows. If I select all these rows, I can use any separator, click and drag, and that is going to expand this data to have a perfection of data shown in this worksheet, that is having this data in their individual cells. So you can see that when I adjusted these rows, I have a well fully shown and well defined data showcased to us. So you can use this method to adjust your rows, as usual to adjust your columns. Let me undo. Another way to do it is the complicated way, and if you prefer to go by that way, there are some data or there are some columns you don't need to adjust. So if possibly I want to adjust only column A, I can use the separator, click and drag it manually, and this is going to help me to adjust this column. I can apply that to the column B, click and adjust, click and adjust. So you can see that I have adjusted these 3 columns using the manual way, because all these columns I don't need to adjust them, but I can also adjust this one. Then I have this award shown. So this is when you want to manually and individually adjust some columns or rows. You can also apply that to rows as well. I can click and that is going to adjust, click and that is going to adjust. So this is also another way of adjusting rows and columns so that you can have your data fully shown in your worksheet. Let me undo, Ctrl+Z. Another way of adjusting your rows and columns is to select a particular cell. So I have this column K here, and this is the width, or that is the column width of this particular column, which is K. And when I select this, I can hold Ctrl+C on the keyboard, or I can right click and choose copy, and that is going to copy this into the clipboard. Then I'm going to select the columns I want to adjust, so I can select these two columns. Then I'm going to right click on any of the cells, choose paste special, click, and I'm going to have this paste special dialog box. I'm going to choose column width and click on OK. This is going to adjust this column based on the copied item beautifully, as you can see. So sometimes you need to use your eyesight to adjust a particular column. Select copy and use that to adjust your columns that consist of your data. Another way to do this is when I move to the home tab. By then, let's select the column we want to adjust. Now move to the home tab, and then under the home tab we have this format cells. When you click on the format cells, we have the cell size, and these are the options you are going to see. We have column width, we have auto column width, and also we have default width. If I choose column width, this is going to provide me with this particular window, and I have the preference to type a number of the column width that I want. So if I type 50 and click on OK, this is going to adjust this by 50. If I move back column width, I can change this to 15 and click on OK. So based on the number that you enter into that field, you are going to have your column adjusted. And as I said, you can also apply that to your rows as well. But because in this video we are focusing on the columns, you can apply the same effect to your rows as well. So you move to format, column width, you can change this to 10 and press the enter key. That is going to adjust your columns. You can also go to this option and choose auto fit column width. This is going to adjust based on the length of your text, that is your column headers. So based on your column headers, this is going to adjust this based on the letters or characters that you have in your cells, and that is called the auto fit column width. You also have default width, and this is the standard column width, that is 8.43. You can change this to 10 and click on OK. That is also going to take effect. So this is how to use the home tab to adjust your columns or rows as well, because when you get to this option, we have auto fit row height, we have row height, we have a lot of options here, and you can use that. And before that, you need to select your cell as well. Now the next option is when you select your worksheet, that is the particular worksheet, you can click below a column. This time around, I'm not going to select a column. Let's assume I select this cell, and this cell is below column F. When I move to format and choose column width, and then type 25 and click on enter, this is going to expand the entire column. If I select multiple columns in this worksheet, I'm going to use format, column width, and then change this to 20, enter, and that is going to expand all the columns that we have here, and we are going to have the 20 given to this particular column width. So as you can see, I have showcased different ways of adjusting your rows and columns to suit your data that you have or data that you've entered into Microsoft Excel. But I want to give you a notice. Measurements for column width and row height are set to inches, and as a user you can change this by going to the file option. When you click on file, we have options, and also we have the advanced option in this pane. And when you select advanced, we move to an option that says display. So we just scroll, and we have this area that is display option, and it says show this number of recent worksheets, and that is 50. You can adjust this. But when you move to ruler units, we have default units. When you click on this arrow, we have default units, we have inches, centimeters, millimeters. If you want to change from inches to centimeters, you can do so. Any of the options that you want, you can do so, and when you are done, you click on OK, and that is what you are going to have in every worksheet or workbook that you open in Microsoft Excel. Hope I have perfectly explained this to you when it comes to adjustment of rows and columns. Let's put that into practice, and that is going to help us to analyze and organize our data in Microsoft Excel.